So I need some kind of a pit instructions from a skilled bike rider. And this teacher, the master, can, looking at me because of my capacity, he's now looking at this disciple who has a different constitution, sense, devotion, diligence, all of that, and the timing, of course, timing. And my master has to give me, according to that, pit instructions. And this could involve all kinds of seemingly nothing to do with the teaching, such as, every time you ride a bicycle, you should have a shot of a tequila or something like that. Because he might think that I'm too, hyper, that maybe needs to drag out a little bit. So then I can, sort of balance a bit more. Or I'm too paranoid that I will hit my knees on here, there. So when you have several shots of tequila, you lose all that kind of but importance. These are what we call pit instructions. So valuable. Because in short time, a skilled master, a devoted student can achieve a lot without reading the history of bicycle. And this, Lodong Shabashire, is like a pit instructions. What we do is, according to Vasubandhu, Chulne means you have to have a discipline, some kind of a discipline. And I think we can talk a lot about it, about discipline. Now, Nagarjuna said, Chultim, or the discipline is like the fertile ground where you can actually do things. It will bear fruit by when you have a fertile ground. You can't plant a potato on a naked table. But if you have a fertile ground, you have a hope. I mean, much more than a hope. You can do it, and it's much more likely, it will happen. So, discipline is very necessary. Now, the moment the word discipline is uttered, it's a very scary thing. The discipline is a very scary. Oh my God! What is it going to tell us? Is it going to tell us to, become monk? Refrain from, I don't know, chicken, or refrain from, drinking boiled water or something like that. Discipline is not always something nice to hear, but it's kind of unfortunate because actually the Buddhist word discipline in Sanskrit, I think it's called sometimes shila, which also has the connotation of cooling. It's actually quite pleasant. Discipline is crucial. I will tell you something. The modern day people have one big problem. Depression. So many people have depression problems. Remember, we have everything now. Everything we have, but still people have depression problems. I've come to a conclusion, actually, most of our depression comes from lack of discipline. And I'm not even talking about discipline of something religious discipline. Some kind of even a mundane discipline will do, every day between certain hour, between 7:30 to 7:45, I will tidy up my room. And you do it that every day. such discipline will actually give you a less depression. Because right now, most of the depression comes because you are free to do everything what you like, and you don't know how to begin actually, how to do it. Discipline is necessary. On top of the discipline, then what we do is teva. Teva means actually more like receiving the teaching such as what's happening now, and reading the text. Reading the text. Very important. Lord Maitreya, towards the end of the Uttara Tantra, Maitreya had stressed that it is only through the hearing that one will open the door to the spiritual path. So important. So one must do a lot of hearing, reading. Now, if you are really a serious Dhamma practitioner, if you seriously want to engage into the Dhamma path, that's not enough. Contemplation is necessary. And when we are talking about contemplation, we are talking about basically analyzing: is this path any good for me? Can I do it? Does it make sense? Is it logical, or is it just a big, like? You have to contemplate, really. You really have to contemplate. Because just because it is coming from the Buddha, you cannot take it on face value, so to speak. Because there's so many religion or religious teachings. I, for one, I don't do much contemplation, but a little contemplation when I do, some of the religious instructions are not for me. Some of the religious instructions, basically for me, it is a survival kit that is designed for a certain part of the world, for a certain society, made for few, people who are afraid of sandstorm or stuff like that. So you have to really contemplate. You really have to contemplate whether this is suitable for you. Does it make sense? All of that. Hearing, hearing and contemplation. Okay. So now, if you have, let's say, just hypothetically, an example, if you have 1 hour of free time, you should do hearing 15 minutes, contemplation 15 minutes. So I'm giving hearing and contemplation equal standing and equal importance. Then, half an hour, if you really want to follow a path, you have to meditate. Because if you are not meditating, then it's a bit like cooking whole day and not eating, or reading the menu over and over and over and not eating. It's no point. You have to meditate. And meditation is basically, once you develop a certain confidence through the hearing and contemplation, completely one-pointedly remaining with that confidence is meditation, which we will talk later. By the way, I was told I know that this is kind of a retreat situation. So I've seen that Namacharya is also going to lead you through the meditation. There's an individual retreat I can schedule. I'm sure individually you will also do lots of meditation. And I don't know whether we will have time today, but I also like participating with the meditation. So in the morning, maybe about 10-20 minutes, I will also do some meditation with you, so that also you'll be saved with me blabbering the whole morning. So I think what we will do is we will stop here today, and if you have questions, you can ask me now. You are one. Do it. Change one. Dissolve.
Thank you, Rinpoche. When you were saying that the mental habit of loving is an attachment, and what about when one loves their work, like an artist who has a passion and love for their work, and that love for their work is about giving up that work for the benefit of sentient beings? But you have to have that love and attachment in a way to it to do it, or is there another way to think about it?
I think you explained quite well, actually, with your first question. This is a good thing that you brought it up, because when you hear the 4 points, 4 hallmarks, if you have knowledge, if you have attachment to this is this, you are not this, you are not this, you are not this, you are not this, right? And suddenly you realize, okay, so the bodhisattvas have to become basically like a vegetable. You understand? That is never the case. Bodhisattvas must do everything. If tomorrow you're from New York, if Obama wants you to be the vice president, you have to really go for it. Yes. You know, or if it is benefiting sentient beings, and if you can tell me, if you can benefit, maybe even give a seed of bodhicitta for, let's say maybe about 10 sentient beings, I would not discourage you to become a hooker in the 47th Street.
As long as you're doing it for the right reasons.
Well, and also if you are quite sure that it's going to benefit, and also this is why you have to apply that. You have to really check whether is there some kind of selfish motivation involved, of course. So based on this, art, or not only the art, anything else, let me be more practical. Most of us, people like you and me, we are beginner bodhisattvas, infant bodhisattvas, okay? For younger bodhisattvas, infant bodhisattvas like us, actually, according to the Bodhisattva manual, we are not really allowed to do extreme things like cutting our limbs and giving to hungry tiger, such as what happened somewhere nearby here, by the way. That we can't do. But we must get used to these great paramita practices already. So what would I suggest to someone like you or me, aspiring bodhisattvas we call them? So I know I will have attachment to my artwork, my whatever profession, but no matter what happens, may it, one way or another, directly or indirectly, lead to benefit sentient beings, and benefit not only just giving them temporary happiness, but actually put them into the enlightenment. That you should do. So, not forget about art, even a bright color t-shirt, you should wear it and then walk in the street and really have aspiration that today I'm really wearing some obnoxious red, like shirt. Whoever sees me, whoever even sort of gets a little startled by my, presence, may they have connection to the bodhicitta and Mahayana path. That is a very right thing to do for people like us.
Is it practice that purifies your intention, like whether you're, say, a dominatrix and you think that what I'm doing really benefits other people, even though I'm getting a lot of money from doing it, or whether you're an artist and you aspire to get money from what you're doing, is it practice that purifies it?
Yes, it is you have to change if there is the right motivation, really the action. In the Mahayana, basically in Buddhism there's something called non-virtuous deed. Someone has to sort of, like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying. Anyway, 10 of them. Bodhisattvas are not allowed to have covetous, harmful thought, and wrong view. Bodhisattvas are not allowed to have these three. Because it doesn't make sense. You can't have for the benefit of sentient beings, you can't have a wrong view. For the benefit of sentient beings, you can't have a harmful thought. It doesn't make sense. Other than that, bodhisattvas are, if it is benefiting sentient beings, if you don't do it, you are actually you are being a cowardly bodhisattva. It is believed, it's a bit like this, this is in the Shastras, a Sharvakayana monk, not a Mahayana path, bodhisattva path. If somebody is being chased and his life is at stake, and he really comes to you, and you're a lesser path practitioner, and he's really asking you to please, save me because somebody's chasing me, so you will hide. And then the second person comes and asks you, have you seen this person? If you are a Sharvakayana practitioner, usually what they say is, thinking in your mind, you can think that I am not seeing here, right? Or you can tell you are not allowed to tell lies. So what you do is like, looking at something like, I don't know, a box and say, I haven't seen. You understand? It's that kind of.
Not inside the box.
Well, you don't want to spell it out because the second person will then. But a bodhisattva, yes, by all means, all kind of incredible lies you can tell. If it is helping the sentient being. With the right motivation, of course. I hope you are not going to tell lies from now on.
Rinpoche, you are telling us that we should here contemplate and meditate. And I'm a little confused what is the difference of contemplation and meditation. And if you can explain it.
Oh, contemplation has lots of analysis. Contemplation has a lot of chattering. Like talking, lots of talking. Oh, this is not right, this is right, no, this is not right, like that. Okay, this is good for me, this is not good for me, like that. To analyze, contemplation. Argument, lot of argument to yourself. Meditation, no chattering at all. No. We will talk about a little bit about meditation, and actually, maybe not today, but tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards, we will do every day some meditation. Maybe I'll try to explain a little bit about meditation. Basically, it is remaining with a one-pointed mind. For instance, you are sitting and meditating, and you are supposed to look at this tissue box. Then so you are just looking at it. You are looking at it, right? You are looking at it. Now, if your mind is asking you, are you looking at it? while you are meditating. If your mind is asking you, are you looking at it? Then you are not meditating. Then you are contemplating. Because you are asking, are you looking at it? Similarly, if you are meditating on this and you think, oh, today I'm not looking at my tissue thing at all, then again you are not looking, you are not meditating, you are contemplating. So there's a big difference. Just one more question.
Okay. But I have two questions.
Two questions, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to ask is, does being in love necessarily a conflict of not being in love? Can we do both at the same time? Because I get madly, completely in love very easily. Take for example, I'm completely madly in love with Buddhism. What shall I do?
Oh, I see.
And even, I will get completely madly in love with your words. But I will sooner or later, I will remember it, but I'm not madly, completely in love anymore. So this is the first question. So is being in love a necessary point of our path process to get rid of it?
Okay. Shantadeva said, Dungar never shivendu, I'm not going to translate this properly, but just the gist of it, what it says is, there's one ignorance that you should keep it for the time being. And that is called, there's one ignorance that you should keep it for a while. That is handy, yeah. There's one ignorance that's handy, useful for now. And that is thinking that there is an enlightenment. Thinking that there is an enlightenment. That's actually ignorance. But it is okay for now. You should keep it. It's like thinking that there is an end, there's a result. Because ultimately, as in the Heart Sutra, there is no enlightenment. There is no death, there is no old age, there is no sickness, there is no increasing, no decreasing, no enlightenment, no enlightenment, all of that. Okay. No. So we did it.